Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast with your hosts Justin and BJ, and we talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we seem to care about. You, the MVP listener, you listen in, you laugh, and you hate on our takes and opinions, but just don't let us know unless it's been 3 days. You can let us know by emailing our email box, the number 3dayoldpodcast at gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the show. Share it with a friend. Just go out there and go crazy, and let's make this thing go viral to like 10 listeners. That would be awesome. So
go nerds.
Go
that's
nerds.
That's what Nate used to say. Does anybody remember that, or is it just me?
No, I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it's a familiar voice.
Yeah.
Oh, she's introducing herself.
Oh,
all right. Anyways, who's this voice? Who is this? Anyway,
as we previewed the show last week, or the last show that we had, this is the interview I've been waiting for. This is the guest that we have been so excited to get on. It's completing the circle, and people say, what does that mean? This is the last family member that we have yet to have on in the immediate families. We have Justin's sister. And probably, I know your parents didn't say this. It depends on what your birthday falls in line, according to your dad.
Yeah.
But probably the favorite Rabel of all time, Lynn Rabel, is with us.
No,
Michael,
Topil.
welcome.
It's Topil now.
Well, yeah, it's Topil.
Oh, we didn't ask about releasing last names.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
It was too late now.
Too late now.
It doesn't matter. She posts everything on social media, so she's all good. Yeah, you can find her.
Yeah.
Check out her MySpace, her LinkedIn's, all the things.
I actually do still have a MySpace. I found it recently, and I was like, I wonder if I can still log in, and I totally can, but there's nothing. I mean, like, you can't do anything on it. But
wow.
It worked.
I thought it turned into just like a music hosting site for a while. Like that's it. Like all it had was like all the things that used to do to pull your audio or your favorite music pages, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But anyways,
hello.
So find Michael Lynn on MySpace.
What's your MySpace handle, or did they even have it? Was a MySpace page, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
I tried to find mine and I couldn't find it.
My friends call me Mama Mike.
Oh.
So it was.
Can we call you Mama Mike?
I'm not calling you Mama Mike. That'd be weird.
You have always been way too lenient with me. I appreciate that, but
oh jeez, Mama Mike.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Well, it's because of my ex-husband, who is also Mike.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were like Mama Mike and Papa Mike.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm going to start calling Justin Papa Rabel.
Actually, Bree and her friends call me Padre Rabel.
Padre Rabel.
Yeah. So I walked in tonight to the church for youth group, and Bree said her friend goes, "Oh, Padre Rabel's here." I'm like, "Oh, old and distinguished, I guess."
There you go.
Papa Rabel.
But, well, yeah, so Michael, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So, we always ask this question. And it won't offend us. It won't hurt us. BJ might cry for a little bit. But how frequent of a listener are you of the podcast?
I have listened to every single one.
Ooh.
And we needed an applause for that.
Hang on, hang on. He is asleep. Here he caught up. Hang on a second. Good every episode.
So I just want to say thank you. First and foremost, thank you for that. But also, Michael was our first, I believe she was our first emailer to the email box that is sponsored by Thelander Leadership Consulting. So thank you for being an active participant to the podcast. We're so glad you're joining us tonight. What has been your favorite episode since you listened to all of them?
Oh, honestly, the episode that you had like everybody on.
Mm.
Yeah,
like the Thanksgiving one?
Yeah, it was like,
or like our Friendsgiving or
yeah,
whatever it
the
was.
friends, like you had Jeff and you had Phil and you had Brady, and like I loved that episode. But I was very young when you guys were all hanging out, and you're all basically like my big brothers, other than my actual brothers. And
What?
So I have a question to that though. When you're done,
Hang on.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I loved like hang out with you guys, and I loved watching you guys mess around and be silly, and I don't know, I highly enjoyed it. So it was a blast for me to listen to you guys.
So then the thank you. That's very kind of you. So we just need to clear the air here with the specifics of our family relationships and dynamics here. I just need to know for the record. We asked your parents who their favorite child was between the three of you. I need to know who your favorite brother was. Nate, Justin, or me. I get to be in there. So,
jeez,
okay.
Unbelievable.
Hands down is BJ.
Hey!
Hang on a second. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah. New phone, who dis? I'll be right back. Anyways.
No,
we knew that was
going to be the answer, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because obviously you don't have a favorite, okay? That's just weird. But I think growing up I was closer to one or the other at certain times because I hung out with them more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, me and Nate hung out a lot after Justin moved away and left us. You know.
Gosh. Wow.
Chase the girl. Chase the girl. Yep.
No, after he got married and moved to Kansas City, then it was just me and Nate, and you know, we hung out and it was fun, and we worked at daycare together, and you know, everybody in our family worked at daycare, so I'm also in that, except for Justin. But Justin, I really looked up to him when I was little because I really enjoyed the music that he listened to. His music influenced a lot of what I listened to.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah, like so much so that I stole. Oh no!
Hang on. Oh, we borrowed long term.
I borrowed an Offspring CD when I was in like 4th grade and took it on a field trip with me so I could listen to it on my Walkman.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, Justin's music taste
pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah, exactly. It was that album, yeah.
I was. Yeah, I know. I'm still missing it.
Oh well, yeah. I'm probably not going to see it again.
No, it's okay.
When he's driving around with his seat down to the
hang on. Okay, my kids talk about this all the time, and they get in the car and they're like, they say you lay down in the back. I was like, I really haven't changed the way I sit, and they still Bree's learning to drive, so she gets in the car after me, and she's like, well, I can't even get my feet halfway to the pedals now, and so, but yeah.
Yeah, you still drive like that because I've also been in your driver's seat recently, and it's all the way back.
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
But I think
I have back issues.
Yeah,
I have a sciatica issue.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem that we need to get past really fast here.
He also introduced me to 311, and 311 is one of my favorite bands, like of all time.
Big 311 guy. Big 311 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I still yeah. Well, I didn't know my influences. It's probably a good thing you didn't pick up on all the rap stuff. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have liked any of that stuff. Yeah, she's hardcore. She's like a metal. She's like hardcore. What's your favorite band? Just go out there and say it right now.
My favorite band? My favorite band? It's Chevelle. Yeah.
Yep. I couldn't find a song that I was posting that we were going to have a special guest on social media, and I was going to put a Chevelle song in for like social media loop. But I couldn't find one, like a good section where that I listened to like 7 Chevelle songs and I couldn't just pick one. But I also didn't want to ask you because then you would have known that's why I asked you. So, but
I have a lot of favorite bands though. That's just one of the many. But I do love them.
So I'm gonna just be real here. I've never heard of Chevelle. I don't know their music at all. Give me a comparison that mainstream that I would know.
Well, Chevelle is mainstream.
They are. Yeah.
Okay.
You actually, funny enough, you probably do know at least 2 or 3 Chevelle songs and not even know that it's Chevelle.
That's probably valid. Yeah. I mean, we all do that for sure and think of things.
Because even my husband, who is a country boy, like he listens to country. I took him to a Chevelle concert. Well, no, he took me to a Chevelle concert. And he's like, I don't really know them, but okay, we'll go. And then he was like, I know this song. Oh, I know this song too.
Oh, I know this one. I know this one.
I mean, they have a couple that were really big, and most people know them from those
that makes sense. What would those songs be that were like?
The Red.
The Red, okay.
Send the Pain Below. And Jars.
Okay. I'm looking at their song list right now, so I'll go check it out.
Chevelle, the Red is probably their most popular.
Yeah. I personally, I don't like those songs.
Because they were too popular?
Because they're too mainstream?
Yeah, too mainstream for me. But funny enough is they were actually signed to a Christian label when they first got signed to labels. So they were actually labeled as a Christian band.
Oh, wow.
Weren't they? Yeah, I can't remember. Do you remember who they signed with? Was it Tooth and Nail?
I actually don't remember.
Yeah.
But point number 1 is the first album.
Okay.
So, hang on. Can anybody hear this?
Yeah.
That's the song. Have you ever heard this?
I don't know. I'd have to go listen to it.
Well, I thought maybe you just hear it. If you played any baseball games like MLB, you've probably heard their songs on a baseball game.
Okay.
To be honest with you. So
I will go listen to them and then I'll give you my review. So
it'll be detailed.
Cool.
Super detailed.
Yeah, super detailed, like all of 5 words maybe. But no, you listen to every episode. So another thing that we ask our familial guests about is there anything that we have gotten wrong that you remember differently? Maybe not we didn't get it wrong, but you're just like, I experienced that differently, or this didn't go the right way. I know I've publicly apologized to you for a certain story that has been shared on the podcast a few different times, but is there anything from you listening, Michael, that you just want to clear the air about, that you're just like, that's not how I remember this?
Are we specifically talking about my prom dress?
Well, yes. We can go there if you'd like. It's really, you have all the freedom. Yeah.
Let's find out why you bought an airport prom dress.
Okay, well, first off, that dress was apparently in style because I saw a bunch of people in the same dress. Okay?
Yes, you were absolutely right.
It was just, yeah.
It was a black dress with a blue stripe right down the middle. And so the joke was funny. It was.
It was
and you laughed, did you not?
It was appropriate for a bunch of teenagers.
I laughed, but I also was semi-mortified because my father is standing right there, and my boyfriend is also standing right there.
Yeah, that was the funny part.
That was the hilarious part. Because Dad laughed.
Well, not only that, your dad laughed, and then Sharon got mad at him for laughing.
Yep, yes.
But then your boyfriend was like, he was trying to run as fast as possible.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I asked him if he remembered that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. That was really funny."
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like,
You were a good sport.
We're still friends. Like, we're best friends.
Yeah, that's Brian. That's Brian, isn't it?
Yeah, Brian, my former boyfriend in high school. We just stayed best friends after we broke up, and here we are. Like, I don't want to age myself. I'm not going to say how long. But
29.
A really long time. And we just been friends since. And so,
So your adopted brother's joke didn't scare him off from being your friend. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. But I was super embarrassed. Like, I'm not going to lie.
I can't imagine why. We're sitting in a living room with me, BJ, Nate, Mom, and Dad, and you walk out with your dress and your boyfriend.
And Becky had it in there.
Oh yeah, Becky was there.
Becky was there. Yeah, but here I do. Remember, so again, I want to just publicly to your face and to your voice apologize again for mortifying you, and I do have another question though about it. I mean, you didn't have to show us your dress, but am I remembering this correctly that you were like excited to show me your dress?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily remember that.
Okay. That's fine.
I will say I was really excited about prom, and I never worn a dress like that. So I probably was super excited.
Yeah.
About just anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think I had been over there since and that's why it was all a thing that night. And it was cool. So
like, I probably did want to show you, BJ. Like, I'm sure I wanted to get your fashion tips because
of course
I have another story.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. What's the fashion
about the dress I wore?
Yes.
Oh. No. But we can talk about that again.
I have another story, and this is why I think I was looking for your fashion tips. Because
oh boy,
we were at retreat. Now I can't remember when, where, or anything like that, but we were at a fall retreat, and I walked out, and you were like, "Oh, you look really good in yellow." And I was like wearing like a yellow shirt, and you're like, "Oh, that yellow shirt it looks really good on you." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." It meant the world to me. But honestly, you were probably making fun of me.
No, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't have done that. I don't remember that, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, you would have been, my good friend's sister, and I would have wanted to make sure you were always, it's one of those things that big brothers do. I mean, we look out for our siblings. We try to. I don't know if Nate and Justin did that for you or not, but
I would fight anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you just do that. I mean, my sister did that for me, and she was my younger sister, but I would have meant that. I would have meant that for sure. So
I didn't know. I'm like, I was probably, 15, 16, and maybe. And I know you don't get too many compliments too often that seem sincere. And so I was like, oh, that was really nice. But then in the back of your head, you get that, maybe he was just making fun of me.
No.
Maybe it's because my brothers always pick.
Maybe because my brothers pick on me. I can't
So let me tell you this, if I can, this is my role on the podcast. As you know, I take us down a serious turn. And so I just know this, one of my goals as being a friend to your brothers was always to try to shift, because we still do it. We still kind of just rib each other. But there's a certain line. When that crosses a certain line, it's like, it's not funny anymore. You're just kind of like making fun of people, and that's not real cool. So I've always been thankfully I've been raised to just be like, hey, know that line, be aware of those things going on. And there were times where I'm just like, man, I don't know what your brothers do to you, so I need to be nice to you, because who knows if anybody's ever nice to you over there.
Unbelievable.
As I just ribbed them. I'm sorry.
Hang on a second.
No, I knew that we would do that as guys, but I just never felt like that was going to be I mean, they didn't do that to my sister, so I wasn't going to do that to your sister or to you. I just wasn't going to do that. So, yeah, I don't remember. I remember the retreat. And now that when you were going down that road, I'm thinking, okay, because that would have been towards my end of the time in the youth group, as you would have been becoming involved. So, no, I would have meant it. And
you're just an upstanding citizen, is what
try
you
to
are.
make
you're
your
just
day,
a gentleman.
That was very nice of you, and it's it's such a simple compliment, but I've remembered it from all these years. So obviously, it meant something.
And then she's like, I don't really like the color yellow anymore.
Well, I don't really wear yellow. But...
I'm just joking. I've seen you. You have a yellow shirt you've worn. You have like one yellow shirt. It's your Sunday shirt. Yeah.
I have multiple. I don't know. I don't know what I wear.
Yeah.
What was so growing up with me and Nate, what was one of your favorite, maybe it was covered on the podcast, but maybe what was another fun memory that we would do like around the house and have fun when the three of us were just at home and mom and dad were out? Like, what is one memory that you have of us playing games or in some indoor sport or anything that comes to mind? I mean, we did a lot of dumb things in our house.
We did a lot of dumb things. I do remember this is different than the other stories that you've told.
Okay.
But you guys used to practice your wrestling on me. I was a wrestling dummy.
Yep.
I would just be laying on the couch, minding my own business, and
give her the people's elbow right here.
Or I'd get picked up, thrown over my shoulder, and I would get tossed on my parents' waterbed or whatever, like thrown.
Waterbed,
thrown.
So, like, mom and dad's waterbed. Do you remember this from mom and dad's waterbed, BJ? I think, didn't your parents say they had a waterbed too?
Yeah, we were talking about that with my parents,
Yeah. My parents' waterbed on the corner, do you remember this, Michael, where it had, like, that little, like, end piece that was, like, cushioned? So we always thought that was, like, the turn ropes at the corner. And so that's what we would jump off of. It was like a little cap that it went on after you filled up with water. You put this little cap on, and it was like a little platform, and we used that to jump on. Oh, my parents hated that because we would put so many holes in that stupid thing. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. It also hurt when you landed on the side instead of like the middle of the waterbed because, it's like a wooden frame. So many gorgeous, many... and I also loved when I have PTSD from this.
Really?
Like my brothers would just walk up to me and grab my feet or my toes and crack every single one of my toes.
Oh yeah, I do remember this.
It was so mean. And
Nate was the one that did that to a lot of people.
A lot of people, yeah.
I think he has a foot fetish.
Yeah, we can talk about him because he's not here, but
yeah.
No, I do remember that though. We'd like walk into your house and you'd just be sitting there, and one of them, I do remember that. They would just go. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But okay, that's interesting.
There was a constant pick on Michael to see if we can make her cry kind of deal. Like I was. And I probably should have been a boy. I'm honest for them because they roughhoused with me so much that I felt like I had to be tough.
Maybe I'm not the one that owes you an apology.
No.
Maybe that's what we're getting at.
No, I think you're the one that really hurt her. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where the hurt is. That's where the hurt comes from.
That's
not her brothers. Not her blood. Not her blood.
So we can clarify this kind of where I know you're the youngest of the three, but so what is the age gap between, and without aging you, what is the age gap between you guys?
Me and Justin are 5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
5 years and some months. Yeah.
Yeah, and me and Nate are 3.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's about 2 years between each of you.
When you look at it from a year, they're 3 years essentially.
3 years, okay.
Yeah. But like the month wise is what.
Yeah. No, I get it. That hopefully gives our listener a context. I mean, Brenton, and that.
Yeah, Brenton, our historian, he'll let me know when Michael was born.
Yeah.
So, which is why Nate has so much animosity towards me, because he was the baby, and I came around and I ruined that for him, and he basically told my parents to take me back to the hospital and leave me there.
I did.
I do remember that too. I think I remember him telling me a story about, just put her back. Put her back where she came from.
He said that recently too, and you made fun of him too. So he's still really holding on to that.
Yeah.
Oh, he really took it over it.
Yeah. What's your favorite mom and dad story? What's one story that comes to mind, mom and dad? What's one of your favorite memories of maybe as a family trip or something that mom and dad did with us as a family? Anything that comes to mind? Anything that stands out? Maybe a story we talked about on the podcast or anything? So great. Can only imagine.
Well, yeah. One of my favorite stories is when we went to the Black Hills.
Oh, and I wasn't on this trip, but I do remember this trip.
Yeah.
No, this is a great story. You should tell it. Tell the story. Because Dad wouldn't tell the story, but you need to tell the story. Disclaimer, Dad, I'm sorry. And I'll understand if you don't talk to Michael for about a week. Hey, please go ahead, Michael.
It was so much better when he tells it too. It's like I almost don't want to take it from him.
But I can pretend to be him. I've heard it so many times.
We went on a trip, but Justin was not there apparently. I don't remember that.
I was a teenager, so I stayed back. Yeah,
you're too cool. But it was we had 2 other families with us. No, we had just the Boses.
I think it was just the Boses.
Yeah, okay. So we went with another family, and we were camping, and we were at this nice little campgrounds. It was one of those, what do they call those?
Like KO camp.
Yeah, the KO.
KOA.
Yeah. So we're at one of those grounds, and me and the girls, me and the other friends, we went swimming, and to walk back to our campsite from the swimming pool, we had to walk past the outhouses. And as we're walking back, the smell was so bad. We had to run. It was so bad. We were holding our noses. We're like, oh my God, run.
Get the ranger, there's a bear over there.
So we get back to the campsite. We're sitting there, and my dad and our friend, the other dad.
His name's Tom, yeah.
Yeah, they're walking back. Yeah, Tom and Tim. They're walking back, and they're giggling. They're giggling like little girls.
Just like this.
They're the ones that were responsible for the smell.
Yeah.
And they're having a war between each other. Who wants to be the loudest?
Oh, wow.
And they thought it was the funniest thing. I mean, it was pretty funny.
It was like a campground full of people walking by, and everybody's like, what animal is this? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it's a great story.
We've got a lot of great camping stories. That's just one of them. I also remember the Minnesota trip. Yeah, we went to like Mall of America. That was really, really fun. And we were all there for that one. But also, yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah,
okay,
well,
I remember you guys going to that one.
I do remember that one.
The best part of that one was when Dad took us to Hooters.
We did eat at Hooters. Hooters in Mall of America, level whatever, 5 or 6 or whatever. I mean, levels there are there.
And he took a picture with one of the Hooters girls.
Yep. That's when mom realized she's lost control.
It's a proud moment.
Yeah, proud moment. Proud moment. Oh yeah.
I also think we almost froze to death that night too. Like
I think we
on
did.
that trip towards that, like heading to Minnesota. I think we camped somewhere along the way, and we like woke up, and it was like 20 degrees out, and it snowed.
Yeah, we had a lot of camping trips. That was one thing that we did enjoy.
Yeah,
we did enjoy. I can't remember. I mean, I remember in the youth group we used to do camping trips, like on the weekends out the like Branch Oak Lake and stuff. Did they have I don't remember. Did they continue that after I left a little bit, BJ or even Michael? Did they do those like anymore? Like we used to take the whole weekend or like the extended weekend and do it. Like it was back when like my dad and Jerry Heaston and everybody would go. Yeah.
No, the only time we talked about this. I mean, the only time we would do camping trips as a youth group is like when we as kids would figure it out and just go. And there was one time I remember we went and tried to set up tents at some lake around Lincoln, and we got in trouble because we didn't like pay the
permit,
the site fee or something like that. And like we're out there. I don't remember what we were doing. We couldn't. Nobody even knew how to start a fire, so we're like out there trying to set up these tents in the dark, and the ranger comes by and says, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Oh, we're going to stay here." And they're like, "Well, you got to pay your site fee." And we're like, "Oh, we didn't know about that." Yeah, no, we didn't do anything like that with the actual adults.
Yeah, I don't remember doing any camping trips either.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I don't remember you guys being at the ones that we did. Yeah, because I was going to talk about the joys of snipe hunting, but it's not going to mean anything to you guys, so doesn't matter.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, it's just one of my disappointments this evening. Just joking.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. Add it to the list. So Michael, married. How many kids you got now?
I have 3.
Did we already go over this, or was that pre-show? I can't remember.
Pre-show.
Yeah. What about? Okay, hang on. I can't remember what part of we were doing. But Michael, tell us about your family.
Okay. So, I have 3 daughters. My oldest is 18, and she graduated high school last year. And my middle is 10. She just turned 10 on Easter. And she's in 4th grade. And then my youngest is 5, but she'll be 6 next month. And she's a kindergartner.
There you go.
3 girls. What are you doing with your life these days? What do you do for a living?
I work at Madonna Rehab Hospital. I've been there for like 14 years.
Wow. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I work overnight, so I usually work like 10:30 p.m. until 7:15 a.m.
And 14 years, that's a long time. That's good. Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah. And you introduced me. You have your husband as well.
He's doing stuff, but Alex and I have been together for like 12 years, and we are having our 10-year anniversary next week.
Oh,
awesome.
That's cute.
Congratulations.
How did you guys meet?
We met at Old Chicago.
Oh.
The restaurant, Old Chicago.
Did you guys share loaded nachos at all with extra
No,
jalapeno?
I miss those.
Okay.
Did you go on the beer journey at Old Chicago?
Yeah.
You mean
Okay,
world
so
tour?
that's
World tour?
That's actually how we met. It was because I was doing the world tour. He was doing the world tour, and so he went fairly often with his best friend, and I would go with my friends. And I actually made some friends with like the waitresses and the waiters, and so I went with a waitress friend of mine, and she was like, "Let's use my discounts, and we'll go, get some food and drinks." And I was like, "Okay." So we show up, and she sees my husband and his friend. I don't know them, but she does because they're regulars. So she's like, "Oh, I know those guys. Let's go sit with them." And
the rest
we
is history.
sat with them for the rest of that night, and we became friends. And we were friends for a few months, and then we started dating.
Well, that's awesome.
And now their world tour mugs sit by each other. How
No,
cute.
we don't. We never finished.
What?
You never finished?
No.
Oh, we're gonna.
Yeah.
Man, what an episode! I'm just joking. We'll have to get you. Maybe we'll have to buy you some Chicago. Maybe I'll just go steal one. I'll do that for you.
Let's ask this question because this makes sense. I mean, their world tour. I didn't do their world tour, but their world tour was a lot of beers, wasn't it? Was it like 100 different beers?
It was like every month was a different one, right?
So they had like these different mini tours that would count towards your big tour. And it would be like you had to drink like 8 different beers to finish your mini tour, and you usually got like a shirt or something. And then once you finish, like, I don't remember the number, but it was like 140 beers.
Yeah.
Oh no. Alex just said 110.
110.
110 beers, you would finish one of your tours. You had to finish. You had to finish.
Sounds like a Wade. This sounds like a Wade Boggs story.
You had to finish 10 of those tours to get your sign, which was.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
So you had to basically have stock in Old Chicago.
That's
crazy.
Between Alex and I, we had
livers.
Yeah. Between Alex and I, we had like so many different like beer glasses. Because when you do these like pint nights, they would give you the glass. And so we basically, when we got married, we had only beer glasses.
Hey, next time I come to town, I think we're going over to their house for beers.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. They actually just bought a new house. They actually live we all live within 3.5 minutes of each other.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She actually lives over by mom and dad, actually by your apartment in Tierra Park area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your apartment that you had. That was with
Charisse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They live in that neighborhood now. So we all.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You can come on over.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that. My invitation to myself. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. But you have to bring your wife though.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I do love having her with me. So, I was gonna say though, I went to this restaurant this weekend with my son, and it's one of my favorite places to go have a beer because they do their own brewery and stuff. And but one of their things is like 40 different. They have 40 different beers, and I'm just like, I don't like some of these beers. I don't want to sit there and complete this thing when I drink a beer I don't even like. I mean, if you're going to give it to me for free, maybe, but I'm not going to pay for that. But maybe I'm just too old.
No, well, see, that's the thing is like back when I was doing these world beer tours, that was like starting, figuring out your taste, like figuring out what you like. And I really don't like IPAs, and I know that now. And I like darker beers, and so I couldn't go and do it anymore and drink the beers that I don't like anymore. Like it's just, See,
that would be something like. So I'm kind of the opposite of you. So that I guess, but that makes sense what you're saying. I mean, you figure it out, and that's why I said something to the other day. I'm like, you know what you like, you're gonna drink what you like. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. So, yeah.
Especially Long Island iced teas.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some stories.
Yeah.
We all have those stories.
We all have one about. We have one all about our mom, Michael.
Oh,
And she gets her Long Islands going.
Were you with us that night, Michael, when we went to
Old Chicago?
Was it Old? I don't think it was Old Chicago.
Or was it
it
Applebee's? I don't know.
No, it wasn't either one. It was maybe it was Old Chicago. I don't remember, but it was for her or Nate's birthday. And I thought you were there, but yeah.
Was it the watering hole?
No, it was over there by where Kmart used to be down there. It was a different restaurant. I don't think we'd ever been there. It was some barbecue restaurant.
Oh.
I don't think it's still there.
Like Kmart, if the one that we worked at?
Yeah. It was across the highway. And I don't
Mulligan's, maybe?
Maybe
that's what it was. Mulligan's, kind of stuck back behind like what used to be the Racket Club, if you remember.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Mulligan's. It's still there. That's still there.
And somebody gave your mom too many Long Island iced teas that night. I think she was trying to keep up with Nate. Is really what was going on.
I mean, that's a terrible idea.
It is, because Nate drinks his through a straw.
I was just going to say that. That's why they go down faster.
They do go down faster that way. That's for sure. Yeah.
That's when you know you're in trouble. Is they give you a straw. You're like, oh no.
Like, sir, that's for mixing, not drinking through.
Let's shift gears a little bit, because you were too young to drink back then, but your brothers asked you a couple good memory stories. What's your favorite memory of all of us together? Like, what's a story or a memory you have of all of us together?
Oh gosh. Well, that's really difficult. Because I was just such a quiet person that like I kind of just sat and I watched everybody do their craziness. And I just sat back and enjoyed my popcorn as I watched. Are you guys doing what you're doing? But I mean, there's so many different times of hanging out at your house or having you guys at our house and just getting into trouble or not even. I remember, I don't know who was all there. I remember watching Van Wilder at your house.
At my house?
Yes.
We watched at BJ's house?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, BJ, if your dad hears this, he might ground you.
That's fine.
Yeah. Your dad comes back on. He's like, BJ, you're grounded for a week.
I feel like we're all past the point where we can get in trouble for this stuff. Right?
No, 7 years. Yeah, we're good.
But I remember how weird that was because, that's not an appropriate movie at all to be at your pastor's house.
Well, that must have been like during my sister and RJ's time frame, so maybe that's why it was.
I will say that they were definitely there.
Yeah,
that probably.
It probably wasn't. It was probably an RJ. We'll just blame RJ for that one.
Yeah. It wasn't being watched upstairs. It's probably definitely downstairs.
Oh, no, it was definitely downstairs. Yeah.
It was in their little area.
Yeah.
They're home away from whatever.
I don't know. There's so many little trips, like retreats and whatever. I don't know. It's just too many to count from. Like, I'm really bad at recalling a specific one. But I don't know.
No, I think that makes sense though, because that's what our lives were as we were together, is just kind of doing life together and always being around. And I remember there were times where we would get home or we'd get to your house, and when you started getting older and going out with your friends and stuff, and you wouldn't be home. And I remember there were times where your mom and dad would be like, we'd come into your house and be like, "Where's Michael?" "Well, she's out with friends." We're like, "What? I can't believe you let her do this." And all these things. We just did the same exact thing. We'd get upset with your parents for letting you do. And I just remember there were so many times it's like, no, she can't do that. She's too young. She can't go do that. But yeah, it was.
Well, you you and Justin are just a little bit older than me to a point where we didn't really hang out, but me and Nate hung out with his group, because I was just a little bit closer to their age.
Yeah.
And so I will say you guys were telling a story about, I think my dad was telling the story about Brady and Hy-Vee and being on the intercom singing into it. I was definitely there for that. I remember that.
I had never heard that story before until that was told.
I hadn't either. No.
Yeah. That's great.
So that was pretty fun. I also know me, Nate, and Phil went and saw Toy Story 2 in theater.
That's very random.
No, it was just funny because, I'm pretty sure they were older than they should have been.
To go to Toy Story 2, sir, this hey kids, this is a kids movie. No, we'll go. We're good. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're gonna sit by each other too.
Yeah, not sure what they were doing there, but okay.
Well, yeah, and you were a part of all of I think you were, when we'd go TPing people's houses or Chinese fire drills in the middle of streets.
That's what I remember. I remember those Chinese fire drills. Oh my gosh. Those were so funny. My dad would be driving the church van, and he'd have all these kids in this van.
Yep.
And then he would yell, Chinese fire drill, and everybody had to get out. And then you run around, and then he would lock the door so you couldn't get back in.
Yep.
And it was just panic.
I don't remember who was with us, but there is a great story of Nate getting locked out and Dad I don't remember if it was Dad or maybe I was driving or whoever, but we started going down the street and made Nate chase the car. I don't remember who was with us. I don't remember you guys being with us, but those were fun. That needs to happen more often. Chinese fire drills.
Right. And the teeping, I missed that. That was so much fun.
Yeah, you can't do teeping now. People have these dumb cameras.
Well, and teep. I mean, it costs more. I mean, remember when it was flying off the shelves and it's that was gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta protect your assets.
Yeah,
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
That makes a lot of. I'm trying to remember some of those things where you were a part of us from those church experiences where we were kind of doing non-church things. That was one of those that, that one. Those Chinese fire drills were crazy, for sure.
My dad also driving the vans, going through the parking lot at church, which is not
over the hill.
Over the hill, all the giant bumps.
Yep.
And he was there as hard as he could.
Yep. I hit my head a few times with Tim driving the church van. Yeah.
Why the church's insurance went up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have seatbelts, so we're all just bump, and you just smack your head, and everybody's down on the floor, and those are fun. That
was fun. Was Dad teaching Sunday school when you were coming through?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No, he didn't want to teach me.
We had to let him go.
He got tired of teaching his children. He said no more.
Yeah, he only made it through 2.
But I was so sad because you guys had so much fun, and I didn't get to have the same experience.
Yeah, well, you kind of did, because when Dad would make the games that he would make, and he would bring he did all that at home. He would make board games from biblical stories. And
I remember. Yeah. I remember him making that board game,
out of potatoes. Remember, he was cutting potatoes and making the stances.
Yep.
I think Dad still has that stuff. But anyways.
Yeah, that stuff was so cool. He was so creative. Do you remember the David and Goliath head that he used for Halloween?
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if this is the time frame, but my dad made a Goliath paper mache head with a rock in his forehead, and he used it as like an analogy. He used it for Sunday school. We had that thing in our garage forever, and at one point, it's just sitting there. And my dad loves Halloween too. My dad loves scaring people. And so, and this was before BJ, because we lived at Eastboro when we originally had it. So
Yeah,
this was before BJ. He had this paper mache Goliath head with a rock in it, and it just sat in our garage forever. It was you see it on the shelf and it's night out, and so in our breezeway at Eastboro, my dad wanted to make like a mannequin where on a fishing line you would open the door and then the head would come off of this mannequin, and he used that Goliath mannequin, and he repurposed that forever for Halloween every year, for when the door opened, this head would come off, and then he made it like all gruesome. So it was kind of, but that was his original creation for our Sunday school class. Yeah, it's just Goliath with his rock. So.
But we were always like the scariest house on the block. Like, my dad was so creative. He always tried to make the house like the best house on the block. And I always loved that. Halloween is also my favorite too. So.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what is your favorite holiday, but you just said it. So.
Well, Halloween, because my birthday is also around Halloween. So.
That's also when you are your dad's favorite child then. So that makes sense too, because
full circle.
Yeah, it all works.
I'm definitely my dad. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm not my mom's, but I might be my dad.
It's because you two are just like each other. Like,
yeah,
100%.
There's a lot of similarities in the two of you for sure. So
my dad is very creative, and I feel lucky that I got a little bit of that from him. So I really look up to, like, if I paint something or I'm doing something, and I'm like, my dad's my first person that I go and show him. I'm like, look what I did.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And all the kids got our patience from mom. So.
Oh yeah. So yeah. 0.
She has patience for other people's kids, just not us.
Yeah.
That's true. She's worked at daycare for 90 years.
Yeah.
And had her own daycare, so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, good deal. BJ, you got anything else on mind? Anything else any other questions on your tablet full of ideas?
No, not tonight. It's been good. It's been good to catch up. It's good to see you. I know everybody else can't see you, but we get to do this on camera, and so it's good to see you and know that you're doing well. So, this has been good. I'm thankful for it. We talk a lot about in the pre-show, a lot of different things that we could go into. We can probably go into a bunch of different things so many different ways, and sometimes the show just kind of takes care of itself, and that's kind of what's happened tonight as well. And so it's been good. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the time we've spent. So thank you for taking the time out finally, to not that you weren't taking the time out, but I'm glad we finally got you on the show and got to spend some time with you for sure. So what else is sitting on your mind? Usually we kind of talk about our next few days ahead, but maybe there's something that I give our guests a chance to, something you want to tell the world. What would you tell the world tonight? We are global, by the way, so there is a lot of pressure here. We're in like 8 different countries, so
100% we are. I mean, 9 now.
I don't know. Like, specifically, are we saying what am I up to for the next few days, or what is just on my mind?
Yeah, I kind of went 2 different directions. I tend to do that. Yeah. Whatever you're thinking. Yeah. What are you doing? What's on your mind? Let's start there. Anything pressing on your mind lately?
Well, I'm really sad about the church. That's the church I grew up in, and it's no longer a part of my life. And, we moved out of the building, and that's really sad. Like, I'm really sad about that. And I I went to the last service. I went to the Easter service, and it was really nice. It was really, they finished that, they made a really good service, and I think they wrapped it up really, really nicely. But and all the baptisms were so cool. Oh my gosh. Like, the ones that got me the most were like the family members that got to do it and baptize their family members. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And it was really nice to see so many people that I don't know, committing themselves to the church and being a part of the church now. And I thought that was really neat. And then seeing it go into a new place, and I got to see the new building. Well, I've seen the new building, but I haven't seen the temporary space that they're in right now. And I got to see that last weekend, and that was really neat. And I think they did a really good job. And I know people have been working really, really hard. And
I've been doing something. I don't know. No, and this is interesting. I mean, this is good to expand on quick. Is that, both my kids, that's the only church they've known too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the church that Becky and I got married in, and it's the church I grew up in. And when I was closing up the last day on Tuesday was the last day I stepped foot in that church. And I think it was like 11 o'clock at night when I was finally leaving, 11:30 at night, because I was still moving stuff. And I called Becky, and she says, "Well, how you feeling?" And I was like, I think it was just exhaustion, right? I was just like, "Yeah, I'm good." She's like, "No emotion?" I'm like, "Well, you know me." But I was like, "No." I mean, to me, like, I guess I've just been a part of the vision, or been a part of conversations about this church moving, and it actually is happening. Like, I'm like, oh, cool, new chapter. But like you said, and I've had this conversation with people just today at the new property, and people who've been around, it's like, still trying to process that, they're never probably going to go to that building again for anything. Now, your kids go to the daycare,
right,
in the school right next door, and so you see the property. I don't know. Does that make it? Do you think like that will make it worse over time, or make it easier? Yeah,
no, I think it's going to make it worse. I think once it starts changing, whenever that happens, I'm not going to handle that well.
Yeah.
Like, I had a hard time with them taking down the steeple, and
well, that steeple probably would have fell down and killed somebody.
And that's fair.
Yeah. It had to come down. That wasn't because somebody bought the property and we needed to move out, but
it was part of the church, and
correct.
Since I was a baby, like, I only had them.
They took the steeple down?
Dude, the steeple had so much rotten wood. It literally had one bolt in it holding it. I don't even know how, by the grace of God, that steeple up, because I'm pretty sure, as soon as that wood was, it was bad.
No, I'm just kidding. I think that's cool that you say that, though, Michael. I mean, as somebody who's moved around to churches all my life, for me, there's an element of vacation feeling when you go to something new. And so, like, even when we would move to a new church, those first few weeks or whatever, it just felt like you were on vacation. And it's like, well, when are we going to go back home? When are we going to go back to what we know? And that's what you're talking about, I think. I think those are those feelings of like, oh, this is nice. And there's a lot of work and they did it really well. And those are all good things and great kudos to all those involved. But there is going to be that element of sadness and grief of like, oh man, this vacation's over and we don't get to go back to what we know.
I just have, I'm a pretty sentimental person. So, like, not being able to go to the same church for Easter and Christmas and everything else, like, it's going to be so weird. And I don't know if I'm ready for it, but.
Well, and you've had some, I mean, this gets thrown around and we can call it what it is, but you've had some church hurt. You've had so it's like this church, who yes has disappointed you in the past because of previous leadership, and that kind of scarred what what you wanted, what you wanted, and then now you see it go away. You're like, well, I guess I can never get it back. I don't know if that's fair to say that or not, but
no, it is, because I've had a lot of time to think about it too. Because like I've had a lot of time of not going to church because of my quote unquote church hurt, and it makes me sad that I didn't spend more time to be a part of it. And there's a lot of people there that do remember me still, but there's way more people that have no idea, like, other than I'm Justin's sister.
Well, yeah. I'm not that cool, but thanks.
That's usually how they know me, though.
It's a landmark. Yeah. I mean, I remember those times that I would go visit, even as recently as I did. And I remember your brother saying, you're not going to know any. There were people that came up and talked to me that I had no clue who they were, that they remembered me, but I had no idea who they were. But it's been almost 25 years since I've been there. But I get that. The numbers aren't right. You don't have to.
You're good. Math, but... Yeah, I was trying to math it real quick, but we're in our 90s now. Thanks, BJ. But
yeah. No, everything you say, Michael, makes a lot of sense, and I just commend you though for continuing to persevere through that, even at whatever level is right for you. And that sounds like relative truth, and that's not how I mean it. I mean it when you have hurt though, and you're expecting healing and wholeness and restoration to happen. It takes two for that to happen. And I'm not saying, there's responsibility on both parts. Somebody can have church hurt and just swear off the church forever and be like, this is horrible, and never do anything. Well, then that's one side that's never going to bring restoration, whether the church wants to or not. But the church is people. It's imperfect people, and it's that way because we're there as well. We're not perfect people either, but I commend you for even though you've had those experiences, to continue to look forward to those good memories and those good things happening because of what you have found in the church as well.
Yeah. I will say one of my favorite things that I'm really happy that even though I went through all of what I went through, I had this thought in the back of my head that I would never be able to get married in my church. And, that was I always wanted to get married in my church. And I did get married to my ex-husband in a very small ceremony, and it just wasn't right. And then I got divorced, and then I met Alex, and he's, we were going to have a small elopement kind of deal, but it was just family. It was going to be a small ceremony outside, and it was just going to be our family there. And then, God played his hand, and he made it rain, and more than just rain, it was pouring.
It was a monsoon. It was bad. There was no having anything outside.
Yeah. And, my brother, looking out for me, he got a hold of the pastor at that time, and he was like, do you mind if we just use not even the sanctuary, but just the inside of the church for my little ceremony? Just like the commons area or something. And the pastor said, oh yeah, go ahead. You do what you gotta do. Just lock up when you're done.
I had a key anyways. We were going to do anything we wanted. So it didn't matter. Yeah.
So we ended up getting married in my church, and the church I grew up in, the church I always wanted to get married in. And I even got to be walked down the aisle by my dad, and it was the coolest thing. It really just makes me so happy, and it just makes my marriage feel even more validated, like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but and the best part of the whole thing is right after we said our ideas, and right after we're taking our family pictures inside, and we had just said I do, and everybody's just hanging out. The sun comes out and it is beautiful outside, and you couldn't even tell that it had rained at all. It dried up so fast.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah, those are, for somebody who's gone through a lot of hurt with the church, and then God places that and places those people with you, even family who has, connections and abilities to pull things off. Nothing like pulling off a wedding in 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it was like
it was like 2 hours. Yeah, quick. Justin Rabel here to our services. This is what I get paid for. I'll take any consulting fees.
My brother even played music for me to walk down the aisle to.
Oh yeah.
If
we're gonna, I think anybody would agree. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. We're not gonna just do this half of the way. We're not just gonna use the commons area. Come on.
Yeah.
We have a whole church to ourselves.
For it to end up being that way was the coolest thing.
That's good. So, that's cool.
That's why I recently became her favorite brother. Yep. Because
that makes total sense. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. As much as she loves Nate, he didn't pull off a wedding that fast, but whatever.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Shuck it. No. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But BJ, I think we're going to expand on this. Probably another episode.
Yeah, we definitely can.
The good and bad and the ugly of the church. Because, I'm coming off of a weekend where I'm involved. You might say vacation mode. I mentioned that, it got mentioned. Hey, we've done so much, we've lack of sleep and getting things set up, and it's just we're doing a service today, but it doesn't really feel like it's a church service yet, because we still feel like we're not even 100% of things that we wanted to get done. But we pulled off a service today, so.
Yeah. Well, and there's the thing. The church isn't a building. The church isn't a program. It's not just being able to do a service or not. Yes, every week Sunday comes around, and that's for those of you and those of us that have been in church, the business of church. That's never going to change. But the church is about the people. It's about the people that you can interact with. And we have a lot that we could unpack here. We could spin this off a different way, and we probably should another time. But yeah, we can have Michael back on and go through some of that if she's willing to talk to us. People are going to be listening what is it? What is it? What is it? And I don't want to spoil that. We just all have it. We all have had situations take place, and I don't want to diminish what's happened to you. And we all of us that are here know that, but it is definitely time we can unpack that at a different time and give it more respect that it is due, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the beauty thing about it too is what she said about coming to our celebration service that we had at the last building, and about how much she enjoyed seeing the families being, family members being baptized.
Yeah.
Part of her church hurt is because of a dedication of a child,
right?
And how that was handled. So
here, isn't it cool where you find healing where you didn't expect it, in those places where it's wow, and the people that are there had nothing to do with your hurt now, and that, and you're there just to rejoice and enjoy the last few services there, but to find that healing and that wholeness coming back in those places, that's a God card for sure. Just hey, look at this. I'm bigger than what happened to you. I'm bigger than what's going on here, but I'm still involved, and I'm still God. So you don't have to be, even when we don't have it all figured out, for sure. So,
but even if she doesn't come on and talk about it, I'll rehash it, because it was a moment in our lives too. So
for sure, for
the Rabel family, anyways.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. But I will say, I was telling my husband that I would really like to try to go to more services. I have a hard time, not really necessarily because of what happened, but also because I work overnights and I'm usually getting off work at 7:30 in the morning, and then I either have to stay awake and go to service or sleep. And I know I can watch it from home, and I do sometimes, but
Well, here's the nice thing about our new property. We had to add a service because we went to a smaller place. So service is closer to 9:00 now versus what it was before. So
yeah,
hey, just get some breakfast on the way. You'll be good. Grab the family. Yeah. Anyways,
I would like to definitely try to go to more services, and I think that was the thing that I realized this past week or the last couple weeks that I really want to try to go more.
That's good. That's those places I'm finding too, where it's like I've had to jump around and I've never had to do that before. And when you love the church and you love what the Lord's done in your life, you want to be able to live that out somehow, and that's church has given us that avenue. But that's been good. Yeah. So as we wrap this up this week, let's what do you guys got going on this week? What's new in your life? What do you got going in the next few days? What's to be excited about? Michael?
I already mentioned, but Alex and I are celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. And then we are actually heading to Florida.
Nice.
So, for a big family trip. And I've been to Florida. Alex has been to Florida, but none of our kids have been.
Oh, that'll be cool. Where are you going?
We're kind of going to a lot of different places.
Yeah.
We are going to Jacksonville, Daytona, Orlando, and then we're even going to go up to Georgia, and we're going to go to Savannah and Athens.
Oh, nice. That'll be a great trip.
Alex lived in Georgia for a little while, so he wants to go back to Athens where he grew up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. That'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Did you decide on a car rental yet, or are you driving your own vehicle? It's been a hot topic, like in the last few weeks.
As of today, we know how we're getting there.
Oh, okay, good. Good. Yeah. I was playing travel agent for a while with them, so.
Well, there was a small discussion of whether we should fly or not, and then now we know how we're getting there. So it's all good now. We're gonna drive. We're gonna drive. Yeah.
Good.
You'll make some memories, and your girls will love that. That'll be awesome. So.
Well, but I mean, that's how we grew up.
Yep. Yeah.
We drove everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So
I was like 20 years old before I flew in a plane, and that was terrifying.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Justin? What do you got going on this week?
2.5 days of work. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm giving. I'm headed to Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, that's right. Brenton, yeah.
Brenton is shooting in Louisville, Kentucky at the National Archery event meet. I don't really know what to call it. Competition? I don't know. But we're driving out there. We know how we've been getting there the whole time, which is why my sister was asking me how much I rented a car for. But we're just I found a really good deal. So anyways, yeah, we're going to drive out. Brent and I are going to leave Wednesday and then come back on Mother's Day. So just
cool.
So it'll be a long week. It'll be nice to have that break with being involved with the recent church move and stuff and the extra hours and stuff there. So it'll be nice to get away. What about you, BJ? What you got going on?
Well, we've got one of our annual events at work this weekend coming up, and so we have our annual Walk for Life, and so that's taking place on Saturday morning, and we got that going on. So a lot of details to tighten up before then. So we'll be kind of jumping around and doing a bunch of things this week to get ready for that. So should be a good time, should be fun, but like you've all said, life doesn't stop. We just keep going. Next busy thing, right? So. Yep. Here we go. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us, Michael. Thanks for being on with us, and Justin, thanks for letting your sister finally join the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we worked it out with her agent, and we got it figured out.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
A lot of negotiations.
A lot of demands.
He owes
Super
me
demanding.
Culvers.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Culver's, pay up.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Or scooters. I'll take scooters.
Just take Becky's credit card when you show up at the house.
Perfect.
Just go get what you want. Yep.
Okay.
It will be good.
Sounds good.
Well, thanks again. It's been good to catch up with you. And for all of you MVP listeners, thanks for checking in with us again this week. So here's to a lack of irrelevant age news. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.